Round 7 of the Wiesmann FIBT two-man bobsleigh World Cup. We're in Koenigssee in Germany into the second deciding of our heats. Lyndon Rush of Canada leading by a tiny margin over Oskars Melbardis of Latvia. But surely in snowy conditions, none of the top half dozen can be counted out. Disappointing ninth place after the first heat for the last week's winner in Altenburg from Saxony, Thomas Florschutz. With Kevin Kuska behind him, they put in a much better and determined effort in the second heat. It would be a run that would see them take the lead and start to climb the leaderboard. Congratulations from coach Christoph Langen. It was a top-class drive from Thomas Florschutz to rescue some esteem. Two-man and four-man junior world champion Francesco Friedrich had shared the win of the gold medal in Altenburg a week earlier. Here in Koenigssee, he'd been fourth after heat one, nearly a quarter of a second off the lead. Could he too get in amongst the medals? He was in front of Florschutz all the way down, and by the tiniest of margins stayed there at the line. Germany were 1 and 2, but there were 3 still to come. Among those 3, Alexander Zhukov of Russia. With Dmitry Trenenkov behind him, he had had the 6th fastest start, and on such a short 1250-metre track, the start was what was hampering him. Mistakes on the straight as well had cost him, and he dropped into the red, a deficit he was never to overhaul. Friedrich still led as the Russian came to the line, and it looked as though Zhukov would not claim a medal here in Koenigssee. The interest now was on the battle for gold. Just 0.05 of a second had separated Oskars Melbardis in second from first-round leader Lyndon Rush, and the Latvians started a storm again in their second getaway. Perhaps the best drive of his young career for Oskars Melbardis to put him in with a shot at gold, and the second heat, one mistake might have just been enough to rob him. He was in front of Francesco Friedrich. Could Lyndon Rush hold his nerve and hold his lead as the final man on the ice? Jesse Lumsden had hurt his back loading into the sled in the first heat, but struggled through the pain barriers to push Lyndon into a competitive getaway. And from then on, the Gold Rush trail was wide open. Rush keeping it clean and clinical all the way down the Koenigssee track to win by not hundreds, but tenths of a second. In the end, nearly 4 tenths clear to take win number 2 of the season. His second victory of the year means that Lyndon Rush now extends his overall World Cup points lead. The Canadian duo in fine form as they head to Eagles in a week's time, and the World Championships fast approaching. But Lyndon Rush is also targeting the overall season winner's crystal globe.